everyone, welcome to another Music Talk Tuesday, and today I thought it would be interesting to dive into something that's a little bit more on the ranting and raving side, since I will be discussing the worst movie songs or songs that are within full-length feature films. Yes, there has been, at least I think what could be said over the years is that there's a lot of songs that get placed within films that really don't seem to suit it all too well. It almost kind of just degrades the film in a way, based upon sort of the choices that they make as far as producing a song. So I thought it would be interesting to discuss the ones that really grinded my gears and sort of address why they did so. So without further ado, let me discuss them. Starting with Die Another Day by Madonna from the James Bond film Die Another Day. I briefly described this song when I was discussing what I would have done with the Die Another Day film, and also when I was discussing the James Bond franchise. Die Another Day as a song really doesn't ultimately suit the Bond franchise well, largely because it sort of doesn't reflect onto sort of the Bond brand in like a positive light. Because usually when you think a lot of the times of Bond themes, they usually have this kind of sensual, smooth, maybe at some points edgy, but never to an extreme. They were either, and they also seemed to flow very slow, but they had this kind of intoxicating effect to them, whether it be sort of dark and brooding, or whether it be maybe very colorful and more maybe upbeat. It established itself well with a mood, because it really got you into what ultimately was going to be presented within the James Bond film. And this, unfortunately, as a song to a James Bond film, doesn't represent the Bond brand all too well, because not only is it very razor sharp and doesn't have any cool, smooth rhythms to it, it's very robotic. Like, you can just feel yourself doing the robot when you hear this song, because it's just like, die another day, and it sounds very robotic too. Like, it doesn't feel like that there's any emotional weight put into the song, unlike something like, for example, Skyfall, where Adele really belts out those vocals and gives you a sense of, again, really what the Bond franchise sort of stands for, being very sophisticated and suave. And here you just feel like you're just watching a very trashy action movie. Like, you don't feel like you're watching a James Bond film when you hear this song. And again, I think that sort of ultimately ends up reflecting onto what this Bond film ultimately gave us, which was kind of just a cheap action movie and not something of, I guess, really real substance. So yeah, I think this song is just so unbelievably horrible in its execution, and it completely diminishes any supposed value that the film initially was trying to maybe bring to the table. So really, really just bad song, in my humble opinion. Next one I want to bring up is actually a more recent song that I hear on the radio constantly, and I'm trying to think if it was actually played at one point within the film. It might have, but they did do a music video for it, and there was a lot of promotion surrounding this song being associated with the film, so obviously it's going to be included in this list. And that is Love Me Like You Do by Ellie Goulding. Goulding? Goulding? I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry. I am horrible with names. And that's from the film 50 Shades of Grey. I really personally don't care for Ellie too much. I think sometimes either her songs are okay or just unmemorable. This one is on the horrible side, not because it's associated with 50 Shades of Grey. Again, I'm not judging this song, any of these songs just based upon the film they're associated with. They're also based on the quality. And this song, I don't think has a whole lot of quality going for it. I mean, it is very repetitive. You know, you just love me like you do, la la, love me like you do, la la, ha la ha. That's how it sounds. I'm not kidding you. What are you waiting for? It's just, it's kind of has this kind. It's very interesting because on the one hand, 50 Shades of Grey is supposed to be a very sensual film. And Ellie kind of does come off as sensual, but she comes off as a very annoying kind of sensual because she kind of sounds a little bit whiny. Like, touch me, you know, her voice just doesn't suit what mood 50 Shades of Grey was really trying to set. I mean, you know, it's supposed to be kind of dark and, you know, grim and at the same time erotic, but there's really nothing erotic about this song. And I think it was trying to be romantic, but I think fails on a lyrical level because the lyrics are just so unbelievably generic. You know, and they do not add any weight to the sort of relationship that Christian Grey and Anastasia are supposed to have for each other. It just feels so poppy too, like just something out of, you know, what you would hear out of Miley Cyrus or Selena Gomez, or, you know, it's just so unbelievably just, you know, mindless, just listening to this song, you know. And then there may be some parts of the song where you feel like she's trying to get a point across, but then it just goes back into the pop drivel, and when it does that, it really destroys any potential this song has. And I know it's trying to appeal to the idea that 50 Shades of Grey is supposed to be supposed to be about love, but really, when you really look at 50 Shades of Grey as a story, it really doesn't provide those kinds of emotionally happy feelings that the song, I think, is trying to sort of encapsulate. So again, there's a disconnect between, I think, the film and the song, and I also think that the song is just so poorly executed that it just doesn't have any merit or any weight put into what ultimately the film is really trying to say. So yeah, I think these things being together, it was a horrible idea, and the song itself, I just think it's just not memorable or interesting or has any kind of beauty to it. And when it does try to do beauty, you know, there's just so much generic pop shoved in there that it's just not fun to listen to. So sorry, but that's just my honest opinion about that song. It's just really all the more reasons for me not to like 50 Shades of Grey. So but I think that's really ultimately all I can say about that one. moving on to a song that actually won a Razzie for being the worst song of a film um, of the year that it came out, and that's Marry the Mole from Thumbelina. Now, unlike all the other previous songs that I mentioned, this is actually a song that is dedicated within the film as a original song, and it's part, and the song is a musical, is technically a musical. So the thing that this song really ultimately really fails at delivering is a good voice. I mean, the person who sings this song, she doesn't have any pleasantness, or she really doesn't make you buy into the idea that you should marry the mole. Um, and again, this is what distinguishes a good kind of villain song over a bad villain song. Because I mean, even though the person who is singing this song, the mouse, even though she's not really technically a bad guy, she's still sort of conveying a message that is sort of, again, contradictory to the ideals that the film is sort of trying to showcase. Like that love should be about marrying for money, etc., and all that stuff, is her message. And again, this can be somewhat tied to I think The Little Mermaid, where Ursula's seducing Ariel. But here, there's no level of persuasion to, like, after listening to this song, I don't want to marry the mole. I am not convinced that I should marry the mole. And I think this is what this song fails at. So not only is the voice not well executed, but its message is totally botched. Uh, of any semblance of dignity, because it doesn't showcase a villain song properly, because there's nothing smart about the song that really convinces me that you should marry the mole. And I think largely in part the reason why the message does not carry through, also not only through the lyrics, but also through it's really lazy instrumentals. Like this is some generic kind of jazzy, musical number that you've heard a bazillion times over and over. It's very it's just very uninspiring. Like it doesn't try to convince you. It just tries to be a show, a performance. And I think that's really what deters the song from being any good, because the whole idea and purpose behind the song is to persuade the protagonist, Thumbelina, to marry the mole. And again, I don't think this song really carries the weight to really emphasize that. Whereas, again, with someone like Ursula, with her song Poor Unfortunate Soul, she's very persuasive with her sort of arguments in what she makes. And she even demonstrates it sort of too, what she ultimately does in a way. So, again, it's just so much more thought out. And here it just feels so half baked, that it just really doesn't suit itself. And I really honestly feel that this song should have been left somewhere, um, somewhere not in this movie or in any other movie at all. But yeah, won a Razzie. Gotta put in I had to put in one that won a Razzie. But I think that's ultimately all I can say about that one. The last one that I want to mention for this list is Ninja Rap by Vanilla Ice. It's from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. Yeah, Vanilla Ice did a song for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it is glorious in how awful it is. I mean, I just laugh every time I see it. It's just, it's so ridiculous. Okay, so it's basically supposed to be kind of like, Ellie Goodling song where, it's kind of like she has a music video for it and shows clips of the film, whereas in this one they just kind of just showcase the characters, like you see the Ninja Turtles throughout. But man, does this song feel like an ad throughout the entire thing. Entire thing. And again, there is a way to make a song that is promoting a movie in a way more interesting way than anything that they do here, because they try so hard to be hip. They try so hard to be with the times. They try so unbelievably hard to attempt at rap with their lyrics. Alrighty. Oh, Allie said mentioned something. Okay. Apologize. My dad was just providing me some news about my mom. My mom's away. She's across the world somewhere in Europe. But back to this song, the Ninja Rap. Yes, they do say Ninja Rap throughout this song. They also say Go Ninja Go throughout this song. So as you can tell by what I'm saying, this song is also very repetitive, like all the other songs that I mentioned. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go, go Ninja, go. Yeah, it's very, yeah. But it's sort of one of those things you have to sort of see it to believe it. Like, trust me, just type in Ninja Rap by Vanilla Ice and you will get the music video. And it not only does it feel like an ad throughout the entire thing, but they're trying so hard, and it almost seems like they were just so desperate for people to come and see this movie that they just had to go to this level of adding in Vanilla Ice and making a rap out of Ninja Turtles. And I'm not saying that you couldn't have done it in a rap. I mean, I think that it could have been a possibility, but they needed to be a lot more smarter about it than doing it the way that they did it, because the way that they do it, it just makes it feel like you feel like you're watching a commercial for like the Ninja Turtles toys. Like, you don't really feel like this is an actual promotion for a film. So I think that's really what deters this song from having any kind of potential, and just the sheer amount of goofiness. And I understand that the Ninja Turtles are supposed to be kind of goofy, and there's you're not supposed to take the whole concept so seriously. But I think there's just definitely a smarter and less desperate way to go about it, than adding in Vanilla Ice and trying to make him do a rap for it. I think you could have gotten somebody else to do that, and didn't need to have the Ninja Turtles constantly in our faces. Maybe just show clips of the film where they're actually in the film, and they're doing actual action moves, because that's what they do within the film. not dance, and do all that kind of stuff. So it's really designed to just be a promotion and not be something that's genuinely connected to the film. Again, sort of similar to the 50 Shades of Grey song, Love Me Like You Do, where, there is this sort of disconnect as far as it trying to really promote the film, but at the same time, not sticking really true to its message and kind of trying to sort of be a advertisement and not necessarily a genuine song that you could really attribute to the film. So yeah, I think that's really ultimately all I can say. These are all the songs that I wanted to mention. I will spare you from having to look up these songs, but if you want to look them up, you are more than welcome to do so and have fun with it. I mean, and if you enjoy some of these songs that I've mentioned, that's totally fine. Again, this is all just opinion, but I think these songs could definitely have used some work and could have been a lot more memorable than they were and served the film a lot better than they did. But I think that's really ultimately all I can say for this particular video. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year. And I hope to see you on the next video. Take care.